Coming to you live from beautiful Death Mountain in the land of Hyrule, this is the Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 main tournament here on Speed Gaming. We have two fantastic, well-known runners in Link to the Past Randomizer community, Solski and Daaanty, ready to face off here in this round-robin matchup. Hey everyone, I'm Psycho, joined by ETM. How are you doing today, ETM?
Hey, I'm doing great. These are two really top runners. This is going to be a really exciting race. Daaanty did extremely well in the qualifiers, won actually 2 races, and ended up in the top quartile. Solski ending up in the 4th quartile. But, don't let those results fool you. These are both very good runners. This is anyone's race.
Exactly. I know Solski has been running for at least a couple of years, so he does know the ins and outs of the randomizer just as well as anyone else. Daaanty being a qualifier winner multiple times, obviously a really good racer. And look at this, we have bombs in Link's house to start, so nothing major, but we are going to see immediate divergence, it might look like. I saw a crystal at Eastern Palace. I did not catch the rest of that.
Yeah, Solski doing a route I occasionally employ here. If you get bombs or money in Link's house, you can run over and do Sahasrara immediately. This is a pretty unusual route, but it is kind of a gamble. But it has its pros and cons. Daaanty getting 1 bomb from the tree pole there.
Well, let's see if this early play to Sahasrara actually pays off today. Sometimes it does. So Daaanty is going to open the first chest of the game outside Link's house. That is in... Wow, that's a good start, Moon Pearl.
Yeah, that's the kind of item you're hoping to see in this route. Solski, meanwhile, just finding $60 in Sash's closet. Not going to continue on into Eastern.
And another of those big 20s located on the Uncle. So 4 of the 28 big 20s in the game have already been taken out of the pool. That's 1/7 of them gone. Beautiful start.
All right, both players now at the Sanctuary, finding that small key. So if you do get a lamp or a fire rod, that'll put the entire escape in logic.
Quick shout to Corona King 9 for the sub, by the way. Thank you very much for that. Speed Gaming appreciates it. And we are going to move towards the Lost Woods area right now. So we're going to start by Solski seems to be going the other way. I guess they kind of merge anyway. He may or may not check the Lumberjack ledge here. He is going to do the tree pull. Bombs on the tree pull, so that's even more convenient.
Yes, Solski running up to check Lumberjack. Daaanty going to skip that. He'll probably check it later if they find the boots.
Yeah, some runners do prefer to have the boots to get that information because until they have the boots, they can't pick it up anyway. That tree will not fall without it. It turns out the boots, well, for all we know, they could be missing for a while. We do have a hammer, though.
Yeah, we got 2/3 of our Dark World access already, on Daanty's end, at least. All we need is a glove here in Kakariko. And, we'll have full Dark World access right off the bat.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start in terms of the Dark World access equation. Now, of course, that glove could be anywhere, and for all we know, maybe there's no gloves anywhere at all. We may have to go through Aghanim. We will find out as we go on here.
All right, Daaanty, the first one into Blind's Hut. And Solski with a slight money advantage here. If Daaanty doesn't find much money, he might have to farm a little bit to get that bottle vendor.
Well, there's more big 20. There's the Book of Medora. There's some other money. And there's a bottle. So Sick Kid is now in the equation, and so is accessing Desert Palace.
Yeah, there's not a lot we can do in Desert Palace just yet, but definitely it's something to keep in the back of their minds.
So Daanty's going to move on to the next check in the Kakariko circuit, as I refer to it. Just head up onto this ledge, and look, there's a well there. What happens if we fall in that hole? Oh no, we fell into an item trove.
What a calamity.
So it starts off with nothing useful. There is some bombs, which he still had room, so they're useful. Following that, we have arrows. Money. That's a lot of money. And there's the hook shot. That's a useful item.
We have a good question in chat. Is there a modifier from Solski?
What kind of modifier do you mean?
Like, is it 6/6? I actually don't even know.
No, I asked this question. The seed is exactly the same as they did in Game 1. Solski opted for the option to not have any change on the flag set. So they're playing the exact same flags. Moon
All right,
Pearl,
then.
by the way, was in the back of Escape, like the area under Uncle, the chest under Uncle.
All right, so early hammer, hook shot, and book. I mean, these are all items that could be pointing towards something maybe on the Ether tablet. We don't have Death Mountain access just yet, but once we do, we'll be able to get a lot of items there.
Now, I don't know if anyone noticed, but we already saw 2 of the 300 rupee items. Now, money being found early is not a logical push towards Zora. The game will expect you to farm money if you don't find money in chests. There is no logical progression towards Zora as far as money goes. However, because they do have over 500 rupees already just coming out of Kakariko, there is a very good chance that this could push them towards Zora sooner rather than later, just to get that check out of the way once they can access it.
Yeah, Daaanty checking the library, finding just 20 rupees there, and gonna be checking the race game before going in, and just 20 rupees there. No need for that.
Some runners will play the race game to a point where they see the item and then just cancel out in the middle of the race game. This can cost a little time, but if it's a useful item, they gain time over the runners who do the check, just like Daaanty did. I know a time saving like that might seem insignificant to some people, but we've had ties in this tournament, 2 already, and we called a 5-second race last night. So these races can come down to second.
Absolutely. Daaanty now the first one to be checking the South Shore area, starting off with the dam. We do have the hook shot, so we'll be able to grab this chest using a hook clip and clear the whole dam in just one trip.
That was the cape in that chest, by the way, so that might be a bad sign.
Yep. Could be pointing towards Aga, potentially, but of course we're still going to need a lamp and a sword or two to really think about that. 10 bombs, the other item drop. And nice full magic there off the crab.
A quick note on that 10 bomb item, by the way. That is the only item of its type in the game. It's a unique item in that sense, because that is an item that Uncle can give you in standard mode when you have an assured weapon. Because standard mode, you have to have a weapon to clear escape, and that could be one of your weapons. All you get are bombs. Good luck finding anything else. Mini motor and play cleared in a hurry. We're going to see what the items are back here. And so far, just some life. There's some money. And some blueberries. And, well, a second bottle. That's some health medicines. That's good.
Yeah, another location I just thought of, we could be looking at Spike Cave. We're just Death Mountain access away from being able to do Spike Cave.
I think they would need to have more health before they're willing to attempt that, though. 4 hearts is a bit questionable, even with a full magic jar. Until they get half magic, at which point that is looking like a good possibility.
Yeah. Daaanty now making the run up to Ice Rod Cave here. He has to be a little careful. He's only got 2 hearts, and those crabs will take him out in one shot. Looks like Solski's actually going to put off Ice Rod Cave for now.
He might be waiting for the flute, because I think he just flew over there at his convenience when he goes to Ice Palace. Of course, if there's something important here that could be costly, let's find out. Nope, it'll work out. Just bomb.
And Daaanty looks exiting from Ice Rod Cave without a save and quit. That usually means we're going to see Fake Flipper here. Solski, meanwhile, instead heading for Escape.
That'll give him his Moon Pearl. At least in the Uncle area. That's not... I wouldn't call that Escape, just the Uncle area. Daaanty, by the way, doing the Fake Flipper you just mentioned, he's down to a half heart right now. So let's explain how this Fake Flipper works. He's going to line himself up with the edge of the screen, fall in the water, and you just saw, as he fell in the water, he pushed left, and the game did not have time to react to the fact that he was in the water illegally. As a result, it changed screens, and because he changed screens in the water, the game suddenly decided, oh, I can let him stay in the water. He has the flippers. By the way, that was the lamp on the ledge.
Yeah, so we are confirmed that Aga will not be required today.
That is confirmed.
Need Dark World access to get that lamp.
Agreed. And Daaanty hurrying to get under the bridge, because you can soft lock yourself if that guard with the arrows were to shoot an arrow at you while you're fake flippering.
All right, just a few bombs from the hobo there.
Nice exit.
Yeah, Solski heads down into escape for a few new checks. And we get a quick medallion.
That may or may not be important. And the reason I am leaving the jury out on that is because there are 3 other medallions in the game. The Bombos and the Ether are to the left of that, respectively. The Bombos 2 to the left of that. Those medallions, one of those will open Misery Mire, one of those will open Turtle Rock. It may or may not be the same medallions. We could have one opening both dungeons. That's why we say we don't know what Quake is going to be yet, if it's going to be important or not.
Yeah, and Daaanty setting up a water walk glitch here, which will allow him to open up these chests that you normally need the flippers to access. This is it's kind of a weird glitch, and it only works if you have the Moon Pearl. I won't go into the technical reasons why, but you know, that is one easy thing to forget when you haven't taken this route very much. You got to have the Moon Pearl for that to work.
I always used to think you didn't need the Moon Pearl, but then I was correct on that one day, so that was news to me when I first learned that. Anyway, Daaanty is about to make it over to King Zora, which means he's about to get scammed for something. So what will the scam be today from King Zora? 500 rupees out of your inventory, and, well, you get a heart. At our current health level, I guess we'll take that.
And Solski also finding the flippers in Zelda's cell. So some good progression in escape. And 2 items that are potentially required. We don't know yet.
Well, we know flippers. I didn't see what was on the Zora ledge, but the flippers were not required for anything we saw in the water so far that I remember seeing there.
Actually, the Cane of Burna was on Zora ledge.
Oh, didn't see that. Thank you. So that also may not be required, and the runners won't need it most likely, but I say may not because there is logical progression tied to the Cane of Burna. It's usually a case of something like Spike Cave, where there's invincibility involved, but because they have the cape, chances are the Cane of Burna isn't going to be picked up today.
Yeah, I would be shocked to see any of them go for that. Daaanty, meanwhile, also heading into escape, so he's not going to be missing those items, which is good. And Solski actually going to break logic here, going through some dark rooms. Now, these dark rooms are not too difficult when you have a sword, but without a sword, you kind of have to just use whatever you got. And Solski's using that hook shot and hammer pretty effectively.
That is Dark Cross, and the fact that he did not save and quit from there after getting 20 rupees from that single chest tells me he's going to the back of escape. The reason he's going this way is because he does not have the Power Glove. Now, if the Power Glove is back there, this will be a sensational play, because this could be the only way we access it in that case. But most of the time you wait for the Power Glove, you push a tombstone, then you drop into escape, and the room that lights up on Solski's side when he comes into that area is the room that you fall into when you push the gravestone.
Yeah, so we'll see if Daaanty decides to do this route as well. I would guess he will do this, but we'll see.
So we can't really commentate on what now we can commentate on what Solski's doing. He's back in the light. So as I said, this is the room you would drop into from the tombstone. Let's see what is back here. We have bow, a map, and a heart. Piece of heart, rather. So
and Daanty's saving and quitting, so he's not going to get that bow. So this could be a big advantage for Solski.
I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you. If that bow were to be needed to defeat the Armos Knights to get a glove now, using that as another example, that could be another case where this hurts Daaanty.
Yeah, Dante's got some other ideas, though. He's heading over towards Desert Palace. We'll need a fire source and a glove to full clear this, but with it being a pendant, he may just want to check out the front. He'll also get in Agina's Cave and the Desert Ledge check. So there are a few things he can do over in this area.
Important to note, this is a bit of a gamble, too, because Desert Palace has a 50% chance. Because there's only 2 items available, there's a 50% chance that it's boot locked immediately. So this is a bit of a gamble to that sense, but a lot of runners feel comfortable taking that gamble just to at least get the information. I think that was a shield on the ledge, not important.
So chat saying Daaanty will be fine once he gets the gloves, and yeah, he will get the bow, but if the gloves are in Eastern Palace, that will be a double dip for Daaanty. So that is definitely potential to be big for Solski.
And not a forced double dip either. The unforced double dips are the most painful ones. So first step, we're going to check the one chest we have access to, see what is in here. And then it could be bad news.
Oh,
that is a
there's
power
the
glove.
And Daaanty is... I was about to save and quit and then realized, you know what? I can do a Gina. Better not leave that alone. So big play from Daaanty here, getting those gloves. He'll get that bow right after.
Now this, in a way, it is bad news. It does show that Desert Palace is boots locked, so we know that the second item is going to be either locked behind a big key on the torch or locked behind a small key on the torch. One way or the other, it's locked on the torch. So if we want to find the second item here, we'll have to come back later when we go to Misery Mire, assuming that's also a crystal, which would be the more likely reason for them to come to that area.
Yeah, I think Dante's just happy to get that glove, though. He's got a lot of options now after this. He can go to quite a few places in the Dark World. He could go up to Death Mountain even. That wouldn't be in Logic, but there's a lot of checks he can do up there.
Not in Logic until he uses the mirror to get the lamp anyway at this point.
Solski, meanwhile, doing those flipper checks, which we already saw from Daaanty. Daaanty actually not doing back of escape. So he's going to leave that bow behind for now. Probably won't hurt him too much unless he ends up dipping into pod without it.
Well, he's not dipping into Palace of Darkness at the moment because he's just going to the Light World on this side first. But interesting to start on this side of the Dark World. And we have pendants at Ice Palace and, well, I just mentioned it, Misery Mire.
Yeah, I think that other 5-6 was Swamp, but I could be mistaken.
I didn't catch it. I was looking at the pendants. We're going to get a check of Hype Cave right now. And Hype Cave has 5 items in it. Wait a minute. Why am I calling it Hype Cave? It's been Cave of Disappointment during this tournament. Let's just get out of the way. What does the thief have in his hands today? He is holding arrows. So that's a good start for a Cave of Disappointment. We have, following that, some money. The flute. And $50. So, ETM, rate this Hype Cave.
Hard to say right now. We don't know if the flute's required. But you know, flutes are nice. 5 out of 10.
I was going to say 5 out of 10 for a slightly different reason. Whether the flute is required or not, we get to free our access to Swag Duck Transportation, and we get to hear some lovely music to do it. So, yeah, 5 out of 10.
Daaanty now making the play over towards Stumpy and Dig Game as Solski heads over towards Desert, and we find an Ether Medallion.
So this is going to be good news. If we find all 3 of the coins before we actually need to go to either, well, especially Turtle Rock, but especially in the case of Misery Mire, in case there's something in there, we will know after we find Bombos that we can access both dungeons no matter what the coin is. So unless either of those dungeons requires Bombos, we can go into those dungeons now. Ooh, 4 digs on the digging game, and he has second thoughts about picking up the bombs and deciding, guessing he hit them.
Alright, so Solski gonna grab those gloves. He'll have his Dark World access. Daaanty, meanwhile, starting off at the Sanctuary. So this is probably a play towards Village of Outcasts, although could surprise me and go up to the mountain. Now, Village of Outcasts it is.
Just to reiterate on the mountain, just for those who might be joining us late and may even be new to this, the lamp is required typically to access Death Mountain, but because we do have the flute, Death Mountain is still in Logic, so he actually can go up to Death Mountain with his current payout. Here's his music.
Yeah, and I actually forgot he is making the play to activate the flute. That's the the most logical play to do here.
So, Death Mountain Transportation is now available. He may blow the flute immediately. Let's find out. Nope, looks like he might go to... Yeah, he is going to blow the flute. Thank you for calling Swag Duck Air. Where would you like to go? One trip to Death Mountain, thank you.
Alright, so Daaanty gonna rescue the old man here. This is such an annoying check to do without at least a sword. So some runners do kind of put it off and hope they have something to make this check a little faster, but that could burn you if there's something here.
He found the hole. That is unfortunate. So finding the hole puts him back to the start of the room, and that is the one danger in this room, that hole. I do see, I can confirm 5 crystal is on a Swamp Palace, by the way, from the map check from Solski. So that hole in the middle of the fort is dangerous. You have to know when to push down. There is a curving wall that goes down. You can then move left to get around the hole. So you have to find the correct timing in pushing to get down around that. If you can do that, then you can do this in reverse. Solski will pick up his flute meanwhile.
It looks like Daaanty has made it out of the cave.
He has indeed. So what will the old man's tip be? And this is out of logic for right now, but we'll see what it is anyway. Oh, Dead Rock, please. Full heart. So we won't worry about logic on a full heart. And the cabbages are keeping Daaanty from progressing. He's going to get a health up.
Yeah, this is definitely faster than dying.
Indeed. Ooh, that one almost got him too. Ooh, he's going to go to Eastern Death Mountain first. I'm okay with this play.
Yeah, he could run up and check Spec Rock. That's a long check, though. And the only problem with this route is that you kind of go up, you do Hera, and then you have to make the decision, do I run down and do Spec Rock and Spike Cave, or do I do Spiral Cave?
I actually like doing this route better, and the reason for that is because they don't have the mirror yet. If they had the mirror, they could go north if they want to and go to Tower of Hera that way, but not having the mirror, if they want to do Tower of Hera and check Spectral Rock all in one trip, they have to go this way.
Yeah, I just mean that the danger of not checking Spec Rock before coming over here. Alright, Daaanty getting through Paradox Cave. And Solski gonna be putting off the mountain for now, heading towards Village of Outcasts.
We found blue mail and a Titan's Mitt.
Yeah. So that's good news for Daaanty. He'll be able to clear out almost everything on the mountain.
That also means if he wants to, he could check what Turtle Rock entry key is, because he does have the hammer. He can get over to that section now. Not going to do that right now, though.
So Solski making a play here into Skull Woods.
Ooh, I think we're getting a Super Bunny check already. Or wait, this isn't Super Bunny, never mind.
I imagine Daaanty will probably do Hera first, just because of not having that mirror. And we see that Bombos medallion up there on Floating Island.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we know where all of our medallions are.
Once we have the mirror, we know that the Bombos medallion is unlodging, and at that point, all access to Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, regardless of the medallion, is granted. By the way, Solski is Skullwood. And decides to take the hand to go back to where he came in, so quick shortcut.
Yeah, so going into Skullwoods here is kind of some players like to put this off, wait for Fire Rod and a sword to make it just a little more efficient to route, but that can burn you too, so I can understand going in here sometimes. But meanwhile, we got Daaanty into Tower of Hera.
Solski doing the sneak walk around there to get to the big chest, not bad. And there were some bombs in that.
And we got a Canis Maria. And Daaanty gonna set up the Hera pot here.
He is. Quick trip upstairs, and I'll explain why this works the way it does. Normally, you would fall into this pot by falling in from a higher floor. If you want to get a fairy, you would then warp back to that floor. However, you can clip yourself in, get to it the same way, and you're still going to warp to the higher floor. So it saves a lot of climbing, and you're already one floor below Moldorm.
Yeah, Daaanty did get that big key, so this is not out of logic. And finding the other item in Hera is just a heart piece. So all that's left to do here is kill Moldorm. So I don't believe Solski found anything of interest in Skull Woods. And he's going to move on.
I don't see anything new lit up. He still has the bow, though. That is an advantage. Daaanty will come to that eventually with his Titan's Mitt, though.
And Bumper Ledge, just a rupee horde there. As Daaanty takes care of Moldorm and gets that first crystal.
That's our first boss kill of the game. Unfortunately, we just took his lunch. And Solski's continuing the tour of the Village of Outcasts. We are now in the C-shaped house. That's a piece of heart. And now I wonder if we're going to get to see what the Turtle Rock entry key is. That's what I'm curious about now. Nope, he's going to drop down here instead. And this is the... Well, it's the boot, so it's the Walk of Shame today. That's a sword for Solski.
Alright, so sword number 1.
Gonna get the treasure game. Single bomb is an item in the treasure game, and the sword is the actual item you get from the game as a prize. So now we have a Master Sword, all in the Village of Outcasts.
Solski heading into Thieves Town as Daaanty makes his way towards Super Bunny Cave now. First item in Thieves Town, 10 arrows.
Daaanty taking advantage of a glitch where you can hook shot to the block as it's moving and end up where the block is moving. As a result, you can then walk through that block as if it wasn't there.
Yeah, I think Daaanty tried to do it and didn't get it.
He got the first time on the clip to the far block, but then didn't get on the far block. Now going to Super Bunny and getting a shield. And there's our third sword. That's his first.
Alright, so in the space of a couple minutes, we've located 3 of our 4 swords.
Yep, we've located our Bacon Blade. Just have to have the runners collect all of them now. Now we'll get our Turtle Rock check.
Yep, and it is Ether.
Bombos not required. Now, it could... I will take that back, actually. Bombos, while not required for Turtle Rock, which is a crystal, could still be required, not only just for Misery Mire, but also in case we have to go to Ice Palace without the Fire Rod. That would be the other scenario. The likelihood of that is low, but it has happened. We have Half Magic and Hookshot Cave. What else do we have? A Boomerang, Blue Boomerang, and money.
Alright, so Daaanty taking the fall here. He decides I could have done Spike Cave. That Half Magic would have made it certainly much easier. But he decides to skip out on that for now.
Solski going upstairs in Thieves Town. I've been watching Daanty's items, so I haven't seen everything in Thieves Town. But we are coming up on the Sunshine Room here. And we are going to see... By the way, why I call it the Sunshine Room. Look at all the sunshine coming to it. Look at the fact that it's shining a hole in the floor, telling you exactly where to place a bomb, so you can shed some light on the situation below.
And we're getting also a Misery Mire area check, and it is also Ether for Mire. So that Bombo's, again, potentially still required for Ice Palace. But Solski's definitely going to want that Ether.
And being a crystal, the likelihood is very low unless the fire rod is located in Ice Palace. That would be one of those evil scenarios where you need it to get the fire rod to go finish Skullwood.
All right, nothing much in Mire Shed. And looks like Daaanty now is headed for the back of Escape. So with this, he may decide to go over and he's got a lot of options now. He can go do Thieves Town. He can go do Pod and Eastern.
Well, he can't do Pod and Eastern at the same time. He would have to have the mirror to do it that way, but both dungeons are options, as you said.
Yeah.
There's the compass for Thieves Town.
So last item on blind. Don't think we found anything useful in here just yet.
I'm hearing ether use. Oh, look at that. That'll show you where you are in the dark.
Yeah, I believe there was just 20 rupees or something like that in Darkross, so...
Meanwhile,
nice
our
to
blind
just get out of the way.
Meanwhile, our blind pun of the day, and I don't remember seeing this one before. Ganon is a beacon of despair.
Yeah, I think that's a newer one.
It is, I think.
Alright, so Thieves Town empty in terms of items, but it is a required crystal, so no big loss there for Solski.
Yep, it had to be done anyway. The only downside was you had to open all the chests along the way. Not a huge time loss, though. Daaanty trying to use that frozen enemy to place himself, and he figured it was in the right place, found his 20 bucks.
Daaanty taking a moment to decide where he wants to go next. He's going to start off at the mountain cave and pull out that flute.
Ah, beautiful music. Solski gonna dig 4 times, pick up some bombs.
Yeah, so Daaanty now heading to Village of Outcast. And forgetting he has the mitts, or maybe actually going up for a ped check.
He could be. Solski, meanwhile, left the bombs away in the side. I wonder if Daaanty might just be going to the Lost Woods. I don't think he's checked, or to the Skull Woods, rather. He hasn't actually been there yet, and that seems to be exactly what he's doing.
But he just forgot he had the mitts. So it takes a long way around.
Yeah, he forgot.
Alright, Solski picking up that important Ether Medallion from Stumpy. Daaanty again getting out the mitts and going around the long way.
Looking at no boots and trying to come through that is painfully slow. So forgetting that he can go the short way is costing him some time.
Yeah, he will pick up his second sword here and most likely head into Thieves Town and full clear that.
He may get the third sword before he does that, though. He will open Thieves Town, and yeah, he's going to go look for the other items. Well, first he's going to open the brewery. There we go. Now he'll go with the item out of it. And there's your shiny red sword.
Alright, Solski now heading up to the mountain. But he is missing those Titan's mitts. Which were... Oh, no, never mind. They were on the mountain. What am I talking about?
Yeah, they were on the mountain. They were in Paradox Cave.
Yeah, Solski actually checking now Spec Rock. Just a heart piece there. I think Daaanty skipped checking that entirely.
Yeah, I don't think Daaanty did check that. Or Spike Cave. It's worth knowing again that Solski cannot get to the Tower of Hera right now, so going to Spike Cave is going to be the limit of his exploration at this time.
Solski can get to Hera, just he has to take the long way.
Yeah, not from that route, is what I'm saying. He can't get there from that route. He'll have to save and quit back to the front of the mountain because he can't even get back to the light world now.
So he's going to come in and take care of Spike Cave. And using that Cane of Burna, which drains your magic a little slower than the Cape.
He got hung up on the wall for a second. That almost cost him, but he did get recovery. He got the boomerang out of Spike Cave. Not worth the expenditure.
So both runners retracing each other's steps right now. I do want to take a moment to shout out to our tracker today, Magic Jade 47. Doing an excellent job today. Thanks for keeping us on track. We definitely cannot do this without the trackers, so big shout outs.
More importantly, though, do make sure you follow these runners while they are tracing each other's steps here. They are putting on in the show. They are the main stars of the show here, more than any of the rest of us here. And they definitely do deserve your support. So make sure you give them a big thank you for these this wonderful entertainment, and keep tabs on what else they do as well.
So another thing we can start talking about, we've got a lot of important items already. Let's start talking about what we need for go mode. We definitely need both rods. Haven't seen any sign of those. And we will need the mirror for Swamp Palace. And then there's that slight chance we'll need the boots for the key on the torch in Ganon's Tower. But besides that, we don't really need anything else.
Yeah, they have a lot of items. They can really go wherever they want to go right now. It's kind of funny seeing this nice item loadout, and each runner has only completed one crystal dungeon. Tower of Hera on Daanty's side, and Thieves Town on Solski's side. They're going to crisscross and do each other's dungeons now. But there's still 5 dungeons out there, and a lot of them can be completed. Now, the only thing is we don't have the lamp, and we won't have logical access to some of those dungeons' completion without the lamp. But these runners are probably going to do it without the lamp.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, all of our crystals except Turtle Rock can be completed with no fire source. Oh, sorry, not Skull Woods either.
Yeah, Palace Darkest Eastern Palace need fire source too.
So we do know the lamp is on Hylia Island.
It is.
Only Daaanty saw that. Yeah.
Now, if they did want the lamp, they can get it as they go to Swamp Palace, but what are the chances they're going to do that? By then, they will have done several dark rooms by the time they find the lamp. There won't be that many left. They might think it's not worth it. If it was early, they might get that lamp, but depending when we find that mirror, it may not be important.
Yeah, the one thing, though, is if they don't find that fire rod anytime soon, they may want the lamp just as a fire source if they have to do, say, Desert or Misery Mire. Alright, both runners now starting to rack up the crystals. And I imagine that's going to be the focus of their routing. For now, they have still Pod and Eastern completely untouched. So I imagine Daaanty going to clear it a little bit of Overworld first.
Palace of Darkness is a really big one too because that has 5 items in it. So the item density that's probably the second most item dense dungeon next to Swamp Palace, which has 6 unique items you can pick up in it. And this does not count, of course, places like Ganon's Tower.
And worth noting, Daaanty decided to skip the entire Smith chain, even hammer pegs. So I have to wonder if he's completely forgotten he's got mitts. We'll figure it out eventually, but
Well, he walked around and didn't access the Dark World through the shorter routes, so you may be onto something here. He may have forgotten that he has the Titan's map. May not have it marked. Now, we don't have access to his tracker here on the restream, but if his tracker shows that he only has Power Glove, that is a very good possibility.
yeah, now he may just be skipping the Smith chain on purpose. It's pretty common to put it off till you have the mirror, since the mirror makes that whole chain much faster to do.
We're getting confirmation he does have mid slid up on his tracker, so it's most likely a case where he just opted to do it later, and that's fine. He wanted to get Skullwood's checks out of the way first. He just can't complete it because there's no Fire Rod. It will suck for him if Fire Rod is at Hammer Peg.
Yeah, definitely. Like, even if you're going to skip the Smith chain, I'd at least check Hammer Pegs, I think. Alright, so we know that there's nothing in the front of Skull Woods. And Solski's heading over towards East Death Mountain. Gonna finish off Spiral Cave and then do the Dark Death Mountain checks.
There's discussion about Mirror on Hammer Peg in the chat right now as well. That could be a little weird.
Now, Solski having a sword before coming up here will have the option to open Turtle Rock and take a peek inside there. We'll see if he does that.
I didn't see what that item was. I think it was partially hidden behind the hand, but Daaanty literally got offered a helping hand, but right after getting that item.
All calculated.
Apparently it was just a key, and I was going to comment on that chest too. It can have other items now, but there's still a good chance it could still be. I didn't catch what was up Bumper Cave, but Daaanty is not accessing it. That tells me it wasn't important.
It was 300 rupees.
And therefore not important. Solski seeing the Bombos medallion sitting up there on the floating island. He's going to be happy in about 15 seconds to know that it's not needed for Turtle Rock.
Alright, Daaanty now heading over for Eastern and Pod. Gonna take on Eastern first. Makes sense. Finding a Fire Rod before Pod would be ideal to make those dark rooms a little bit easier. Although I'm sure Daaanty can do those dark rooms with no problem. It's just, a little bit slower to do that.
Solski opens up Turtle Rock to save the time later, and he could have gone in to get one item if he wanted to. He does have the King of Samari. He might be able to go to Chain Chomp Room as well if he wanted. But he decided to put off to later because he can't get the two items on the right side yet. Therefore, it's not really an economical check at this time.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to just check Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave first. But my guess is he'll probably take a peek inside.
I can tell you he will be happy to find that Bacon Blade, though.
Alright, first item in the Eastern Heart Piece. So we're getting a question about chat about what do these players play on. Some of them use consoles, some of them use emulators. There are only certain emulators that are approved, and those are generally ones that are very accurate in emulating things like lag and so on, because it wouldn't really be fair if someone were to be able to play without lag. So if you are thinking about getting into racing, definitely make sure you are using an approved emulator. Solski, meanwhile, did make that dip into Turtle Rock, finding just 10 arrows in the first chest, so he is locked out, cannot do anything else in there without the fire rod.
So Solski returning to his house. Daaanty, meanwhile, is, well, we would like to tell you what he's doing, but he's in the dark. We can't really tell you. And now he comes outside of the Eastern Palace Dark Room and is going to proceed to that final chest, the big key chest, the vanilla big key chest. Big key is normally in here. What is in here today? It is the big key. Of course, we knew that already.
Solski, with those newly acquired Titansmids, now heading off to the Mire area. He will actually have the option to dip into Mire here, but with no fire source, you can't get the left side, so it's not a very attractive dip right now, especially since it's a pendant.
So Daaanty finds the bombs, going to proceed to the back of Eastern Palace. Now, I've not been counting the items as well as you have been on this one, but there is still a crystal here, so whether there's an item at the back or not, we do have to complete this dungeon.
Yeah, Daaanty doing great work in that dark room. That's one of the trickier dark rooms to do. You have to actually shoot one of those Igors to get a key off of him. And that's pretty tricky to do in the dark. So take some practice to get that down consistently.
And this is the reason the bow is needed at Eastern Palace. You cannot get past these red Igors without the bow and arrows. But once you clear these two rooms, greet the Armos Knights. Now, we can get a quick kill on these. Let's see if Daaanty goes for it. He may fire 2 arrows into one and then leave it alone. He does just that. So we'll see if he can pull it off, and then I'll explain what happened. He does. So the goal was to get 2 of the Armos Knights at the same time down to 1 arrow left to kill each of them. What he would then do is kill one of those Armos Knights and then quickly fire the second arrow into the other Armos Knight before it turns red, because turning red resets its health to requiring 3 more hits to defeat it. So by doing this, it saves a couple arrows, saves about a second or so of time. Like I said earlier, seconds do matter. We have had ties in this tournament.
Daaanty actually hasn't even checked Sahasra yet. I'm going to do that. Solski, I think, checked this about a minute in.
Yeah, it was all money, I remember.
But with Eastern being empty, I think the next logical destination is Pod. It is our only full clearable crystal right now. And we really don't have any other good options. So,
to be honest, it's the only dungeon that we can left. As you said, it's the only dungeon we can actually clear. But even then, the lamp is logically required to clear it. That means that the mirror is probably in one of these dungeons to lead to the lamp to give logical access to Palace of Darkness. That's what I think is happening here. Either that, or the mirror is in Palace of Darkness, and you have to double dip Pod by logic to get the lamp.
Yeah. So. Daaanty does know that the lamp is there. Of course, again, without that mirror, it's still not in logic.
He could technically do Misery Mire as well, I believe. I think it's clearable. You are able to get across with the hook shot. It's the hook shot or boots. You have a Samaria to finish.
You do need a fire source for those 2 chests.
Oh,
left side.
Okay. So yeah, they may not be accessible. You may be able to get to the back, but you may not be able to get everything. That's true. Okay.
Yeah, it'll depend on the key layout.
Of course.
But anyway, Daaanty is checking out now the shooter room in Pod.
Now this is going to be a hint whether it's a bow lock Palace of Darkness. It is not. You can go up the middle if you wish to. They have the bow anyway, so they can go the right anyway if they want to.
Yeah, and let's see how Solski deals with this dark room.
He will swing a sword in a circle and fire an arrow.
And looks like he's just going to spam. He's got the tempered sword. It one-shots everything. So, yeah, that worked just as well.
Yep, seemed to do the job. He got through. There's our second chest. It's a key. So we have 2 keys. Remember, keys aren't really remarkable in this dungeon. There are 6 keys in this dungeon. So we've already got 2 of the keys, and usually the keys are in the front, and everything good is in the back.
There's always a minimum of 4 keys in the front of Palace of Darkness. So it is kind of important to count those keys, because sometimes you'll be able to skip chests knowing that they have to have a key you don't need.
That's 3 keys. There's 4 keys.
Well, we could see the rare 6 key front of pod.
Something being pointed out in chat that I didn't comment on. It looks like Solski has grabbed the cane of burn. I didn't even catch that. So it is marked on the tracker, though. So good on the tracker for catching that. He did grab the cane of burn off of the Zora leg.
Yeah, I did see him using it on Spike Cave. Definitely an interesting choice to grab it when you already have the cape. But it's not the worst thing in the world.
It tells me there's some specific reason he wanted. Maybe for damage dealing capabilities while still being invincible. That could be what it is. There's a map in that chest, and that is on the right side. That's the Bullock side. There's a fire shield. That's the second of the 3 shield upgrades. They are progressive, so they will move up to mirror shield from there.
Yeah, and that is the first of our 5 items in Dark Palace.
2 now, I believe. Unless I just forgot what one of them was.
No, we had all keys up to now.
No, I think we had a second item in the chest on the right of those 2, didn't we?
Oh, I didn't see it.
So let's see what's in this chest. Turtle chest. There's our 5th key. So there's 1 more key, not counting the big key. And we're in the dark, so we may or may not get to see what is in this room. Let's see. Nope. We have no idea what that is. He's checking the inventory. I don't think we saw anything. That was money. I saw the money move up.
That was definitely money. I think that first one was the big key.
Oh, that good. I didn't catch that. Yeah, that might have been the big key. And I do remember seeing a key sanity race where before the prompt came up for a key in the same dungeon, that it came up and it didn't say what it was. And it's like someone spent a minute trying to figure out what he picked up, and it turned out the big key was lit up and no one noticed it. So it's a good, that big key can definitely hide in the dark, and without checking the menu, you don't know that you have it.
Well, that was definitely a compass. So we've seen the compass and the map. We know there's an item on Helmasaur. There's a heart container.
Yep, we saw that one. So that's 4 items, I believe, if I'm counting correctly.
Why did Daaanty skip Hellway? Hellway is a guaranteed key. So we've seen 5 of these small keys. We know the 6th one has to be in the Hellway.
Unless it shows up somewhere else before we get to the Hellway.
Yeah, it didn't in this case, though.
Yeah.
And Daaanty actually, no mirror and a lot of health, so he's actually going to leave the long way here.
He could be going to straight to Helmasaur King. I don't know. That's fine. What we can tell you for sure is, and he's going to go through Hellway, so he may have to get this key now because he has to leave this way. There's the key that you were just talking about. So there's your evidence of it right there. So now we do know for sure that the map, I believe it is, unless we saw the map, then it would be the compass. One of them has to be on Helmasaur King. The reason is because we did see all 5 unique items in Palace of Darkness. They have all been found. So
no, we didn't. We saw both the map and compass.
Oh, we did? Sure. Did I? Maybe I forgot where I saw a map on one of those. Okay.
Yeah, he's got both map and compass.
Okay, I saw something wrong. Thank you. Then there's an item on Helmasaur King. I stand corrected.
So this is out of logic. We know it definitely can't be the mirror, since the mirror is required to get the lamp.
Yeah, and we didn't find it in Palace of Darkness either. And every other dungeon we can access, we pretty much aren't guaranteed to be able to complete. So that means, oh boy, we could have, like, we would have to access a dungeon to get the lamp to do other things. So
Yeah,
there's gonna be a double dip somewhere in this lodge.
most likely. And really the biggest area is just Mire. There's not a whole lot else they can do right now. We haven't seen any of the Smith chain, so there could be something there.
Let's play a little game in the chat. I don't usually play a game like this for a random item, but we're looking for some important items here. What does chat think the item is going to be back here on Homostar King? Whether progression or not, pick any item, and we'll just see what everyone thinks. Little game in our Twitch chat. If you're watching on YouTube, just make your own guess. Someone's saying purple chest. No, it cannot be the purple chest. Good try.
What? What can't be purple chest?
No. Be cool if it could be, but...
Wait, what can't be purple chest?
Homostar King.
Helmsar King can't be purple chest?
No.
I'm confused.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, here's some good guesses. Couch Cash, Piece of Heart, Boots. I see a mushroom in there. That would be kind of a trolley item. We know that wouldn't be the mirror in that case, leading to that from that. Daaanty taking advantage of the health refill. And now we're going to face that Homostar King. As you see, he's a shy monster. He wears a mask to cover his face. Either that or he's involved in some kind of masquerade ball. I don't know which. So we're going to convince him to reveal his face by removing that horrible mask. And isn't it so nice being able to see everything clear? Oh no, he's attacking us. Gotta kill him. And what do we have on Homostar King? If you said a big 20, congratulations. You win nothing.
So my guess is we're looking at Mire. But again, it could be somewhere on the Smith chain. Daaanty actually walking out of the dark maze of Pod. Most likely going to go check Pyramid Ledge, and then potentially walk up to Catfish. And I can't blame him for this at this point. There's not really any good options, so you might as well just do the slow checks that you're already close to. Alright, Solski, having cleared out most of Pod, has just Helmsar King left.
Question in chat, did they check Sahasrar's closet? Yes, Solski did at the very start of the game. Daaanty did it later. It was just 3 big 20s.
And just $20 on the pyramid. And Daaanty is headed to Catfish.
Now, we're not worried about Pyramid Fairy yet because the red crystals are needed for that. And, well, Skullwoods is one of those red crystals. So we know the Fire Rod at least won't be in there. But we also can't even get to that right now because we need the Fire Rod.
And, yeah, someone mentioned Ice Palace. That's not an option right now. We need the Fire Rod or Bombos to get inside.
Ooh, we're going to get Catfish play. Catfish usually has some really nice stuff on it. Let's, you know what? I'm going to say it's the Fire Rod.
I'm going to say it's nothing and we have to go into Mire.
That'd be gross, but it is possible. I'm going to say he has something important, though, and Fire Rod is just my guess. So let's see what the Catfish croaks up today. He croaks up a big 20, and he's not even going to grace it with a pickup.
Alright, so Daaanty basically just has the Smith chain and Mire left. Let's see which one he picks.
Smith chain is probably the better play at this point. But we don't have the mirror, so we can't check Cave 45. If we were to go to Mire, we can't check Checkerboard Cave either.
And he's going for the Smith chain. Makes sense. He's not guaranteed to be able to full clear Mire.
That's the reason I'm thinking that. And he is going to take the short path this time. So there's his Titan Mitts put to good use.
Daaanty taking a little bump from the tree to move down slightly faster.
Anything to save a second, right? Solski takes out the king and is going to get his fair prize, his tip for doing so. And fun little treat that Daaanty showed off. Pick up the frog, save and quit, and all of a sudden you have the dwarf with you when you start the game again. And he also gets to fly on Swag Duck Air, which is a very nice courtesy for him.
And looks like Solski gonna do the same sort of route Daaanty just did.
Can I answer a quick question, chat, before we get Daanty's item here? Is Helmassar King out of logic or in logic? It is out of logic because you need the lamp by logic to go through the runes, but you can do it without the lamp, which is why they have it done. Boots!
That is a big find for Daaanty. Now, the boots are not likely to be required, but it is possible they're locking something.
Oh, at this point, the odds are that they're locking something because Desert Palace just opened up. And I should also add my tagline for that: the speed run may now begin because they can now run very fast with those boots.
So this would be very important for Solski to go do Smith Chain after this because you want those boots.
We're going to get Bonk Rocks right away.
Yeah. Daaanty actually not checking Lumberjack just yet, anyway.
Solski has been following behind Daaanty for a little while now in terms of following the exact chain. So if he does do something other than Smith's Chain, I'll be very curious to see how that turns out.
Right now getting our King's Tomb check.
Money.
And nothing there. So Desert, I mean, it's kind of a risky play. We can't beat the boss with no fire source. We already got the first item out of there. So there's no guarantee we'll even get any items if we go to Desert right now. And I think Daaanty has the same thought, so he's going to go and do Hammer Pegs and Purple Chest.
Comment in chat that Daaanty has a few Death Mountain checks to catch up on as well. He may not be putting those off until he goes to the Turtle, has plans for Turtle Rock later. That could be the plan. He may be hoping to be in go mode before doing that. From what I'm checking on the trackers right now, whatever extra Death Mountain checks Solski has done, Daaanty would not have to do from what I'm seeing here. So if he finds everything down here before going back to Death Mountain, not checking those extra checks will pay off.
There's a single arrow at Hammer Pegs.
Gotta pick that up.
Daaanty's got to feel a bit good about that because he could have checked those Hammer Pegs a lot earlier. So it's always nice to see that there's nothing in a place you skipped.
Especially when you check it 20 minutes later. Speaking of, we are about at the 1 hour and 3 minute point of the race. And for those joining late, I am Cyclone, joined by ATM, checking out this race today. This fantastic race between two fantastic runners in this community, both well-known runners in this community. And hoping for a really close finish here today.
Purple Chest contains, nothing. So we're looking at Mire with no fire source or Desert with no fire source. And this is where Solski might catch up a little because Daaanty is going to go do Spike Cave, which we know has nothing.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for Daaanty. He is just trying to mark off all the places he can go right now. And with things drying up in the dungeons as much as they did, he's trying to avoid double dipping a dungeon by checking something up here first that he thinks could be up here needed for that dungeon. So he's not going to be rewarded for that, unfortunately, and it's going to bring things a little closer. And looking at the dungeon completions right now, they're done the exact same dungeons. They're literally going to be hand in hand after Daanty's finished up here, I think.
Oh, Daaanty's going for Turtle Rock, so this will cost him even more time.
I don't think Solski's actually been in Turtle Rock yet.
Yeah, he was. He checked the first chest and got locked out.
I see, okay.
So, Solski about to grab those boots.
And, of course, that's going to waste even more time. The Dead Rock getting in the way. He's going to just try to scroll it off. It didn't work. He has to wait for it, and he's just going to damage boost through it because he doesn't have time to hit it again. Oh, that was a nice smack on that one. Daaanty did not reveal the portal yet. By the way, you have to hit those pegs in the exact order you see. If you don't, you'll hear a buzzer noise saying you got it wrong, and you're going to have to leave the screen and come back and do it again.
Alright, Solski now off to do those boot checks. But this is definitely kind of a gross spot where it looks like our runners are going to be required to dip Misery Mire with no fire source or potentially Desert Palace.
Solski, I'm going to assume that was an accidental map check there. And Daaanty leaves Turtle Rock in disappointment. Solski catching up on the Light World checks that Daaanty has already performed. Getting King's Tomb out of the way. There's his 20 bucks for that. Daaanty back at his house. Solski exiting King's Tomb. And both are in the air. And both land in different places.
And Daaanty going to choose Mire first, as Solski's going to go do Purple Chest.
I have a feeling Solski will go to Mire right after this, just a guess. Just a hunch.
Yeah, so basically Daaanty's options were Desert or Mire, and neither is great with no fire source. But the reason I like Mire is that almost certainly we're going to be able to get at least one item and maybe two. Whereas in Desert, there's no guarantee we can even get one item. If the last item is on the boss, we can't get anything.
And for anyone who might be thinking Ice Palace is open because we have Titan's Mitt and we can therefore lift the rock, go the Dark Road, and get in, we have to remember that we don't have a fire source yet. The only fire source we have so far is the lamp. And, well, let's just say we don't know where the fire rod is yet. So the fire rod is the best way usually to take out those monsters to get into Ice Palace. So they can't get Bombos or the lamp right now, and we're literally left with these two dungeons to work with. Desert Palace and Misery Mire.
Alright, there is a small key. And Solski is picking Desert first.
Well, we're getting to see which one's right. That's the good news. They're both pendants, so either way, it's not a good option.
And just a compass in the Spike Room chest.
So just to remind the stakes of this race, Solski getting the big key on the Desert Torch, or off the Desert Torch rather. Remind the stakes of this race, Daaanty is up 1-0 in this series. Solski did have a chance to change one of the flags slightly for this race today. He opted not to change the flags. We are playing the same regular 7-7 open seed, nothing changed. And Solski has to win this race to stay in the match against Daaanty. It will not be elimination because this is the first match of a double elimination round robin. So Solski needs to win this match to make it a tie and to maintain another chance for another match against Daaanty. If Daaanty wins, he moves on in the round robin undefeated. We have silver arrows in the desert.
And there's the mirror in Misery Mire, so no fire source, so we can't do anything else here. But that will get Daaanty access to that lamp.
That silver arrow could be useful, though.
But Daaanty first going to check checkerboard cave. And Solski heading over to the potion shop.
You gotta get some Gatorade once in a while. And he has no empty bottles and tries to fill another potion. Didn't work. So he's going to leave a bee behind. That's a golden bee he's leaving behind, too.
So that mirror is going to open up a lot of stuff. It opens up all the swamp pals. It opens up that Bombos medallion, which is going to potentially be required to get into Ice Palace. Well, Ice is a pendant, so we're kind of hoping we don't have to go in there, but this sea's been pretty awful so far, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, if we know this game at all, Ice Palace will have something. The seas where you don't have to go in any of the pendant dungeons are very, very few and far between.
Yeah, but Swamp Palace is by far the most logical play. There are 6 items in Swamp, and it is our second of those Pyramid Fairy Crystals. So this is essentially a play for 8 items. By far our most dense play right now.
Yeah, I agree. This is the most item dense location. As soon as you have access to it, in my opinion, it pays off to go and to get the items out of here because there's a good chance there's going to be something good in here, even better than Palace of Darkness. So it's a good place to go look for things.
Daaanty, I believe, only found 1 item in Mire, but he has no fire source, so he couldn't get the other item. He could potentially go to Vitreous out of logic, but that is a big time sink for what may not even be a single item.
The only good news about that is he has a silver arrow, so he would vaporize Vitreous, and if something were to be there, oh boy, that's an advantage.
Yeah, that's a very low percentage play right now, though.
Agree, but if it happens, that would be good. I do like Daaanty's play a lot better, I will agree.
Yeah, Vitreous would be in logic once you found that mirror, since you know that you can get access to the lamp.
So he gets the big key. He's going to keep looking for the item right now.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see Solski go and do Vitreous. But stranger things have happened.
With the seed the way it's been, I wouldn't be surprised either. But he's thinking about it. Nope, he mirrors. He's out.
And Daaanty skipping left side swamp for now. We'll see if he goes back in later for it. I haven't been counting items.
I have been partly watching Solski, so I haven't been either. But there are going to be at least a couple down here, so let's see what we have. That is the big key. That is a fire rod.
All right, we're an ice rod from Go mode now. And that's a fire source for Daaanty.
Now, the question of the day would be if Daaanty were to go back and open the big chest. He decided not to open the big chest yet. He may have to come back and get that, especially if he decides to check the left side.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on how many items remain. And I really wish I had been counting. And Solski actually going to check Bombo's tablet before heading into Swamp.
I like that play because it gives an extra item check, and if it's something that is useful, like an extra sword or something like that, in general, that's something you can use in Swamp Palace in its entirety. Very quick work of the Argyle over Argus. Now we just have to spam a couple fire rod shots, a nice swing of the sword, and we're down 1 Vitreous. There is an item, 10 arrows.
Yeah, that was a really nice fight from Daaanty. So Daaanty gonna skip left side and the big chest, and gonna run over and check Bomble's tablet. And this makes sense. He got the fire rod. That opens up. Well, it opens up all Vice Pals. It opens up a bunch of Turtle Rock, Skull Woods. Not sure how many items are remaining in Skull Woods. But I imagine Daaanty will probably head there next.
There's not a lot of items in Skull Woods to start with, but at the same time, we do have to complete the dungeon. So I can guarantee you one chest that he will not check right away is the one in the lower level, because that is a chest that is in the back area of Skull Woods, and you have to go get Mothula anyway. You can go back to the beginning of that area if you need to eventually check that chest. So there's no point checking it until you defeat Mothula.
Yeah, one tempting reason to go to Skull Woods now is you get a quick ped check in. We got the mirror and the book. If that ice rod's on the pedestal, you'll be in go mode. It'll be a long go mode, but it'll be go mode.
And that is extremely useful information. No, you don't have to open all the chests and just go straight for that ice rod.
And that looks to be what Daaanty is doing.
With or without the ped check, that's what we don't know yet. So get your maybe pedestal hype in chat. We might get to see it.
Yeah, I imagine he'll fight Moth first.
Me too.
Because, if the ice rod turns up on Moth, I don't even have to bother with the ped check.
Exactly.
And Solski also skipping left side for now, so we will see if he decides to check left side afterwards.
That could also be key. And Daaanty, thinking about his menuing for a second, gets the fire rod out, and yep, we're gonna put off the pedestal for a little while longer at least. So get your Mothula hype in chat, as we're gonna go squash a big bug.
And there's that fire rod for Solski.
I imagine I'll send him to Skull Woods in a hurry.
So the big question for Daaanty is, if you don't find the fire rod here, what do? Do you just go to Turtle Rock and hope it's on Laser Bridge?
He has the fire rod.
I meant the ice rod. Or do you do some overworld locations to look for it?
Well, first you check the chest, and then we make a decision from there.
Yeah. Daaanty, I mean, he doesn't... There's not a lot of great options left. We have a lot of sort of scattered checks that mirror's opened. We have Ice Pals full clearable.
Turtle Rock is mostly available now, and the odds are, in a seed like this, you're going to have to go to Laser Bridge to get that ice rod, so that would not be surprising.
Yeah, the ice rod does show up there quite often, but is not guaranteed, and if you don't find the ice rod there, oh, there's a shovel. If you don't find the ice rod there, that's a lot of time you've sunk.
I have a feeling that shovel is going to get put to use immediately. That's going to be utilized to find possibly an ice rod. We'll find out. Get your pedestal hype in chat, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get our Book of Medora out, and we are going to learn to read weird characters. And those weird characters say, just move along. We only have money here.
All right, so the hunt continues. Let's see if Daaanty goes straight to check that shovel. No. He's going straight to Turtle Rock. This is bold.
I would have checked the shovel. 100% check the shovel first. If that's an ice rod, you're wasting your time climbing.
Well, yeah. So the good thing about this situation is Daaanty will be able to save the portal. He's checked most mirror locations. Oh, and Solski checking the big bomb.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. That didn't mean to interrupt you. So we're going to get to see what the big bomb has today.
So this could be a race turning point. If the ice rod's in here, Solski's in go mode, and Daaanty is wasting a lot of time in Turtle Rock.
Go mode without the lamp, but still go mode because he's not going to get the lamp at this point, I don't think. He just dropped the bomb. He has to go pick it back up. That cost him about a couple seconds, but he does have it back now. It is safe and not lit. He's going to drop it off at the entrance to Pyramid Ferry, and now just a very long 3-second wait here, and are we going to find the ice rod here in Pyramid Ferry? Chest number 1 is a piece of heart. Chest number 2 is a piece of heart.
No ice rod in Pyramid Ferry.
So that gives a little more credence to Daanty's play to come up here, but there is still the shovel, which Solski does not know yet because he has to clear Skull Woods to get it and get that chest open.
All right, it looks like Solski is off to Skull Woods. Makes sense. Get that crystal out of the way.
At this point, if Daaanty does not find the ice rod here, Solski's one play to stay in the race at this point would be to find that item behind the shovel once he gets it. So we'll see if the ice rod is in here. If not, it's Solski's race to lose if he checks the shovel or not. That could be the ice rod at this point.
And this is kind of the moment for Solski where it's important to have a good idea of if you're ahead or behind. So if Solski knew he was behind here, he wants to do different checks from Daaanty to give himself a chance to catch up. Because if he just does the same checks as Daaanty, he's got no chance. But if, the problem is you can never know for sure if you're ahead or behind.
Yeah, you have to guess because the runners are not able to see each other's screen. In fact, they're even playing on a 20-minute delay to further enhance that. So as soon as they finish the race, they can actually come watch the race with us and see how the finish turned out with us. But they are not able to see each other's screens as they're racing. They don't have any way to know what progress the opponent has made. It's like they're in an isolation bubble and they're closed to the outside world, so they can't. They don't know anything going on. Look at that bunny sprite for Daaanty as he's going to check the Lava Island chest. This could be an ice rod. Let's find out. On the Lava Island, we have... Nope, just a small key. Solski will get his map, and he will now know he has to open another chest. He will get his shovel when he does that.
All right, Daaanty soon coming up to the big chest and also Mimic Cave.
I would check the big chest first at this point. It's quicker to get that check done than it is check Mimic Cave.
Yeah, you'll often see runners doing that, and Daaanty is, in fact, going to do that.
And it paid off. So we got the 20 rupees out. Now we're going to check Mimic Cave.
All right, Solski finished with Skullwoods. Going to check that pedestal now.
Just muddy. Please enjoy. Mimic Cave can be an item. It's not a Turtle Rock item. It is a regular item. It is a piece of heart.
And Solski is doing what he needs to do here. He's not going to Turtle Rock. So I think he feels behind. He probably feels that Daaanty has gone to Turtle Rock, and he does not want to check the same things Daaanty is checking.
Even if Daaanty finds the ice rod now in these last 6 chests, or 5 chests, I still like Solski's play better. So let's see. Nope, piece of heart. It's probably here in Turtle Rock. So There's a good chance the very next chest could be the ice rod. If not, then it's probably on Laser Bridge.
Oh,
and if it's not there, then
sorry.
if it's not there, then we're gonna have to back our green. Sorry.
Said Solski is heading up to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, there's not much else left. I think it has to be Laser Bridge at this point.
Well, we still got all the pendant dungeons left to do.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of checks in there.
That's true. We could go to Ice Palace, and that would have been a brain play if someone had done that, and that's where it was. But let's see if it is on Laser Bridge, which is what I suspect. And if it is not, then it's going to be a case of which dungeon do you think it's in. It could even be on Vitreous. That's
right,
money.
Chest is money.
That's 2 items right there. That's
Yeah,
the ice rod.
rod.
At 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 58 seconds, Daaanty is officially in go mode. And he gets his key so he can go fight Trinex.
Yeah, and that is going to give Daaanty a rather large lead. As Solski actually going to go pick up that Bombos medallion.
Is he planning to go to Ice Palace?
He must. No, he wouldn't come all the way up here.
Couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't be. I don't know what he's doing with us.
Because he should know by now that that Bombos is not required.
Unless he forgot what was there, that could be part of that.
Alright, Daaanty on Trinex. Got that tempered sword. This is a fairly straightforward fight, but he's down to half a heart.
This could hurt. This would really hurt. If he takes 1 hit, Solski's possibly back in the lead. Oh, got the fight down though. Good job.
With that, we got a little game we like to play once one of our runners gets 7 crystals. Do you want to go ahead and explain that, Cyclone?
I can. We have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower available. Numbers are already flowing in our Twitch chat, our live Twitch chat here. 22 chests in Ganon's Tower, number 1 to 22. There's a big key somewhere in those 22 chests, and we need to figure out which chest that big key is in. So that's where you come in, chat. You're going to tell us where that big key is today. And we're going to reward whoever tells us the correct thing with a wonderful prize yet to be determined. We'll just tell you about when we have it. So, no numbers above 22, no negative numbers, no decimals, please. Where do you think it is, Edium?
I always go with good old number 1.
Well, I'll go to 11 because, well, always.
All right. Daaanty is in the process of opening Ganon's Tower. It's got a pretty significant lead over Solski, about 4 minutes or so. But the race is not over yet.
And our game is now technically closed, so we are going to start counting chests now. That's number 1. That's number 2. We have a small key. We can continue on the right, and it looks like Daanty's going to do that. And hit the spike along the way. Fun fact, regardless of your mail, those always do a heart of damage. So that did not get impacted by the blue mail that he's wearing. Not the cleanest room here. Thankfully, that shield blocked the last bit of fire, so that was helpful. If you threw that the wrong way. There we go. Chest number 3 is a piece of heart. Chest number 4 is the mushroom, in case you want to check it with the witch. Number 5 is the bug net. Number 6 is a heart container, and was that Sank Heart?
I believe so.
Yeah, he had hearts down before. I think that was Sank Heart.
All right, nothing on the right side though, so Daaanty continues to the left. Solski now reaching the big chest about halfway through Turtle Rock.
Number 7 is bombs. Not picking those up. And it does count, though, even though he doesn't pick them up. Number 8 is a 5 rupee prize. Number 9 is a key. Number 10 is a bottle. Look like the fairy. Number 11, we have butter at number 11. I won't complain about that.
And Daaanty gonna use ether to take out those skeletons. I like that. That room's pretty annoying when you have to kill those skeletons because of all the shooters in there. Daaanty just says, you know what, I'm just gonna blow everything away.
I don't have time for these shooting statues. Let's just get out of here. Now, it's worth knowing that Daaanty did not pick up the silver arrows. They were located in Desert Palace. Solski does have them. This lead is significant enough that I don't think Solski can recover without a couple of major gaffes by Daaanty at some point, which is not likely, given this is someone who has won multiple qualifiers in this very tournament. So I don't think Solski's going to be able to get back in this without a major mistake. But nonetheless, the silver arrows will make a difference. Daaanty will have the extra time in the Ganon fight for silverless Ganon. Number 13 also was not the correct chest.
Yeah, the one thing that could make this kind of close is that tile room big key. But of course, that would require a huge gamble from Solski.
There is one more thing, and that's the despawn at the top again as tower, but we'll refer to that when we get there. 14, 15, 16, and number 17 all off the radar as Compass was in 17. This is the reason I prefer this strategy more over Dark Magician. If you are going to start on the right side and get those 2 chests, finish right side, come back and do left side. Don't turn around, then go back to the right side without leaving random room unchecked, because it just takes too much time, and as you see, Daaanty has to go to the back anyway, so this takes the least time, and that's why I like the route that Daaanty uses for Ganon's Tower. Hi, Bob!
Solski picked up the ice rod and forgot to get the key out of the last chest.
Oops. Meanwhile, Daaanty finds the big key guarded by Bob, the anti-fairy, and is going to proceed upstairs. So that means that number 18 was your winner today, ladies and gentlemen, and we have to see who said number 18 today. So doing a quick perusal of our chat here, I see a 19, but there's got to be an 18 in here somewhere. There's got to be. Yep, there is an 18. So I can now reveal that the winner of our big key guessing game, and I'm going to hope I'm saying this correctly. It disappeared off my screen now. Hold on. The winner of our big key guessing game was, I think that's Jas or Last Frickin' Nation. So congratulations to you. You win our prize. What is the prize? You get to watch the rest of the sea. Congratulations. Of course, everyone else gets to watch the sea too, so we'll ignore that.
All right, Daaanty. Now about to enter the gauntlet. And that gold sword is just going to tear everything up. This is going to be one of the fastest gauntlets you'll ever see.
Yeah, butter literally melts through the enemies in here. And no, that is not a pun. And it's kind of funny thinking about that, because these rooms can be difficult. I mean, you have bombos on conveyor belts. This one has 2 bombos on conveyor belts. Then you have more bombos on conveyor belts. While you're trying to travel on ice, it can be a painful experience, but Daaanty's showing just how hard those rooms are by not staying in them for very long.
Daaanty now up to Landmo.
Yep, Lambolas 2. We never saw Lambolas 1. The difference is that statue over in the lower left. That is just taking pot shots at you. That is not present in the original Lambolas fight.
That is a free fight with the gold sword. Just 2 slashes on each one, and they are down.
And some of the most beautiful clears of rooms you will see is walking across a dark floor where you cannot see the path, but you just clear it quickly like that. And this room is just as nice, clearing it, going up the conveyor belts. KS Mario coming in wonders on these rooms. And now one of the final torch puzzles of the game. We're going to lift a couple skulls here. We're going to light these. Looks like with the fire rod today, because we don't have the lamp. We're then going to go ahead and light the last torch. This is where the despawn can happen. If you go up these stairs, At the same time the door in the previous room closes from a torch going out, you will despawn Ganon's tower. You won't see Moldorm 2. Even if you hover, you won't see Aghanim 2, and you're going to have to do all of Ganon's tower over again. So some runners, if it's close, will take the time to make sure the door closes before going upstairs.
Meanwhile, we did see Solski skip the right side, so that'll catch him up slightly, but again, Daaanty all the way up to Moldorm 2.
Not if he does Dark Magician.
Pretty significant lead at this point.
Not if he does Dark Magician. He could be doing that.
No, he did Hope Room first.
Okay. And Daaanty not going to open that last chest. Who needs an item that isn't going to help you anyway? And welcome to the trigonometry fight on Daaanty's screen. This is, or agonometry as some have called it. 3 orbs are going to be fired at you. Your goal is to fire them all at the real Aghanim, who is the one that is not shaded like the other 2. Sometimes he will fire a blue ball. He did not on that occasion. We got 2 hits on that one. I think we're at 3 so far. There's a 4th one. There's a 5th one. That's a blue ball, or we could have had a triple if it wasn't for that blue ball. We're going to have one more shot. There it is.
Really nice agate too there from Daaanty.
Very, very clean, except for that couple on that first phase. So it's now time for the Big Pig. But first, the Big Bat is going to fly off. Hey, look! Regular transportation now serves the Dark World. Who knew?
Alright, so that gold sword is going to make the first couple phases of Ganon pretty well free. Just 6 slashes on each phase.
And we're going to see what words of wisdom Ganon has today. He's just singing Toby Keith's song. Okay, moving on. First phase, we're going to see a trident throw. That phase is already over because we got enough hits. We're going to see a circle of fire now. And that's going to end very quickly because he's got enough hits. So this will be the only round of fire bats we see. And welcome to the Warp and Temper Tantrum phase. So you saw the Warp, and then you saw the Temper Tantrum, and we do that 3 more times. And then Daanty's going to find out where the silver arrows were. And Daaanty gets the news. And now he doesn't want to do that because that's where he's supposed to fire a silver arrow. You have to do a spin slash to cause damage as Ganon teleports. If you hit him head on, he waits for a silver arrow that is not coming. He did get torch glitch, which is very handy when you're doing a silverless Ganon. That means that the right torch will not go out if you light the left torch before the right torch ever goes out.
And gets a spin in too early there. Puts Ganon into that blue state. Missing a couple of spins.
It won't cost him in this case. Solski is climbing Ganon's tower now, by the way. So it turns out this will not cost him Daaanty at all. But yeah, those missed spins, I mentioned that some racing come down to seconds. That would be an example of it right there. And Daaanty finishes the Ganon fight. That means that we have, or that rather, the Daaanty has one final challenge before he can claim victory. He has to cross the 1x3 bridge. Let's see if he can do it successfully and safely. And he does so. And as he does, I can now officially report that he has an official SRL time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 15 seconds. And he gets to drink from the fire hose. Get your GGs in chat. Unfortunately, we don't have any usable audio for Solski. We are going to be you're going to get to hear music on the stream while we get to hear nothing on our end. So enjoy the music as we watch Solski finish Ganon's tower right now. He is on the 4th floor. We will see if Daaanty wishes to come in to chat about the seed as well. I figure Solski will be done very shortly as well. That's an unfortunate fall on the 5th floor.
Yeah, so all in all, this was a fairly linear seed, I would say. The runners kind of taking similar paths throughout most of it. Daaanty, I think, skipping maybe a few more things than Solski did. And we're joined now by Daaanty. GG, congrats on advancing to the winner's bracket, or the winner's, whatever you call it.
Yo, thanks, guys.
Yep, GG, and very nicely done. And I don't know if you heard as you came in that A-Team was saying that you skipped a few things that Solski picked up, and eventually, in some cases, went back to pick some up later, but didn't cost you. You routed that pretty nicely for a seed that was all out awful.
There really couldn't be anything I skipped, and we were talking in IRC waiting for the delay to catch up, and the first thing I noticed is that he has silvers, and I'm like, where were those? And he said they were before mirror, so I freaked out and was like, did I get super lucky?
Those were in
something.
Did he tell you? I saw the chatter. Did he tell you where they were?
Yeah, he said they were in desert, and
yeah,
I was like, well, glad there wasn't something actually important, because I actually had no intention of going back there.
And we were actually wondering when we first saw the mirror show up in Misery Mire, we were trying to figure out, because I don't know if ATMI had seen whether you found a second item in there or not. We were starting to wonder, could Vitreous have the other item? Could you, by logic, be required to go get the lamp and go back and be Vitreous? Which would be disgusting, but not out of possibility, and that wouldn't surprise us, given how this seed has been, if we saw something on Vitreous.
I mean, those were things that could happen. At that point, I was pretty done with this seed, because it's just how terrible. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do Swamp and hope something's there. And then when Fire Rod showed up, you know, I can't leave Bombo's tablet unless I just have, like, a really good reason. And I can never find a good reason to leave Bombo's tablet. So...
remember how many items were left in Swamp?
I think there were 2.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I considered going back, but I was like, I'm basically 1 item, so it doesn't feel like something I should do. I was kind of thinking that before Fire Rod showed up, I was telling Solski this too, I really thought this seed was going to be so terrible to give us that mirror. Like, who dives Pendant Mire without fire? Like, that's something you do in a weekly when you want to gamble and see if you win. But like in a 1v1, it did not seem smart. So I'm just really glad he last locationed it too.
Yeah, that was a strange scenario. We were discussing, and I actually brought up at one point in the commentary when you still had a couple other dungeons to do. I actually mentioned Misery Mire, but in theory, with if you consider that they're not using the lamp, I said in theory Misery Mire can be completed. And if he mentions, well, what if the big key is locked by the lamp? Yeah, absolutely. That's the reason it would not be completed. But if the big key is not locked by the lamp, it could be in Misery Mire. And then sure enough, the mirror showed up not locked by the lamp. It's like, well, that's an interesting place to find that.
Well, like, I guess one thing, when it showed up, well, before it showed up, the game was just, like, teasing us, because going through and just getting a key after key, and then the big key, I was like, this is literally the last chest. I can't think of anything else. And I mean, I'm really glad it was there and not desert, because I couldn't. I mean, I'd written that off, I guess, is a way of putting it. But
if it was in desert, it's a much different race.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway, Solski is finished the game fight, by the way. We will get his official time here as well. Solski finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 43 seconds, and he shall now commence drinking from the fire hose.
Yeah. So, in terms of kind of the differences between you two, well, actually, just a sec, we see Solski in the waiting room there. Yeah, and we're joined now by Solski. GG's.
GG, Solski.
Relatively close race overall.
Buongiorno. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. That was a pretty exciting race. Tough seed. Forced Mire dip with no fire source.
Yeah, it happens.
But, yeah, in terms of the differences, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot that you guys didn't do in the same order. I think Daaanty maybe cut a few more corners, like never checked that shovel, didn't do Pyramid Fairy, did Mire before Desert. So all those things kind of, just a lot of little things kind of added up to give Daaanty just that lead heading into Turtle Rock.
I grabbed Bombos.
Yeah, I know. There was one question I wanted to ask you too, and the Bombos was the one I was going to ask you, Solski. Why did you grab Bombo?
Because I'm an idiot. It's fine. It's pretty much your cut and try answer.
That's good enough.
So I was thinking the ice play with Titans and flippers and everything, hammer, right cane, hook shot, and I've had that on my mind for like forever, and it just kind of got stuck in there. And I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm not kidding, guys. I'm like, I'm gonna go to TR and then I'm gonna grab Bombos first so I can leave my portal at like the back the wood store, and then like I'll be like this galaxy brain play where I'll just go to ice, get ice rod, and then come back to it, and the portal's still there, and I'm just like, but then I have fire rod. I didn't clue in until I was like at the torches. I was like, well. I saw, you know what? All things considered, I'm just happy I didn't lose because of that. So,
and the funny thing is on commentary, I was saying, so he's picking that up to go to Ice Palace most likely. Then I look at the tracker, but he has Fire Rod. Why is he going to Ice? Why is he getting the
it's just a mistake.
And then we have a similar kind of question of what I'm going to call apparent item forgetfulness for Daaanty here. At one point, very early in the seed, right after you got the Titans bit, you took the long way around to make your way to the Dark World. Did you just forget you had Titans bit?
I mean, yeah. Sometimes I'm not too smart either. So at least I remembered to get the big key in TR this time and not forget it, because I have a habit of doing that occasionally.
I also noticed you put off the old bag of escape for quite a while too.
At one point, I thought I had done it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I still think I haven't done this? Why is this lit up on my tracker? So then I was like, I fully expected to drop into back of escape and they're like all the chests be open. Luckily they weren't, so.
Probably turn it on after checking Dark Cross is my guess, or something along those lines. Because Solski actually did go the back of escape through Dark Cross and didn't wait for the Power Glove to search it. And I pointed out the benefit of that. If Power Glove's back there, bingo, you got your Power Glove, and that's a huge benefit of doing it that way. Not something you see very often, but it could happen.
It does, but again, you kind of have to follow the logic, because like another glove or Aghanim Axis would be locked behind that, and once you saw the lamp on Lonely or not on Lonely Islands or on Highly
This was
Island,
before we saw the lamp. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, knowing that lamp was there pretty early on, like my thought was, I'll do Dark Eastern, Dark Pod, and hope that one, I don't hemorrhage a bunch of time in the dark rooms, and two, that something shows up, because I knew where, like, if I got mirror somewhere in pod, potentially like the basement, then I would know, okay, well, that's fire rod locked, not really lamp locked. And it's one of the cool things about sequence breaking is just where you can like potentially like read the logic, and kind of write off some chests. Like at one point when I got the boots, I almost went up to check Aga, and at that point I was thinking, or the lumberjack ledge, and I was like, there's no point, because lamp's there, so I would need lamp, and that's literally the only thing I could benefit. So it's just cool how you can read logic sometimes, but it don't always pay off like that.
Yeah, so Daaanty, you'll be moving on to face Roach 788, and Solski, you'll be going to face Freddy. Do either guys have any thoughts about your next opponents?
Everybody's good, because the level to get into the top 128 is just ridiculous this year. So, I think we played Roach. Eddie and I actually played Roach in a co-op in the league. So, it'll be nice to play Roach again. I don't think we've never done a 1v1, so that'll be fun.
I have a pretty golf mentality when it comes to randos, so I don't really care about the opponents unless it's like Andy or Rack, because I don't want to get them to like high hell. But other than that, yeah, it's just like, you just kind of play your game. If you have some information on the other runner, like how they do things, then you can use that. But other than that, it's another bigger tournament. I'm definitely not putting as much legwork in as the previous tournaments, but yeah, no, it's just another opponent, really.
And Daaanty, you touched on something that's worth pointing out as well, and I know I've said it a couple times as well. The level of talent in the tournament this year, just For anyone who gets to the bracket, huge kudos, because there are 128 very, very skilled people in this tournament, which you alluded to, who all made out of qualifiers. There are many more who were left behind in the qualifiers. We had literally in the qualifiers times where there were over 100 people racing in one qualifier. And that tells you how many people were taking part in this event to try to get to this round robin phase, not let alone the brackets. So 128 very skilled runners. We've already had several, like at least 2 ties in the first 3 days of this tournament. And I just saw another close race myself yesterday. I was fortunate to be on the call for that one. So we're getting some very, very good races already. And it's still the first week of the tournament. There's still a lot of randomizers to come, and we're going to see a lot more excitement as this randomizer comes on. So thank you for touching on that. I did want to mention that as well.
Yeah, so before we wrap things up here, why don't we take a look at the schedule for the rest of the night. So there is another game going on right now. Actually, 2. Blaine versus Dazed Cloud, although that one's probably almost over. But the other one that just started about an hour ago is Weighty Words versus Bomb Chew Missile. That's over on Speed Gaming 4. Coming up later, we got 3 matches that will be getting restreamed. Trinex versus Imo Saru, sorry, at 10:20 Eastern. Jay Meisher versus F. Collin at 10:30, and then later on at 11:30 p.m. Eastern is Relkin versus Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, and that game is actually a re-race after they tied in game 1, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned. Follow all our channels, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well as ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5 to make sure you can catch all the action.
And by the way, you made a mention of another race that you said is probably almost over. It actually still is going on. Blaine versus Dazed Cloud is on Speed Gaming 3. They are still looking for crystals in there. I won't spoil any details for anyone watching on YouTube because it is also in this very playlist, and you will see that race in this playlist. I won't spoil any details on the live side, but that race is still going on the live side. So go catch that one if you want to see the end of that race. Other than that, any last thoughts from our runners before we start to wrap? If they're still here.
GG's to Solski. When his name came up as the 4 seed in our group, I was like, well, this sucks. So Solski really shouldn't be a 4 seed, but such as the breaks when you do qualifiers.
Yeah.
Daaanty is on the move, very powerful and intimidating. He is the future. Go watch him.
Yeah, and follow both our runners. We got the links there in chat, Solski and Daaanty. They're both a lot of fun to watch. And one final shout out to our tracker tonight, Magic Jade 47. Did an excellent job for us.
Agree, thank you.
And of course, my co-com Cyclone, Twitch name Cyclone GU.
And make sure you follow GM2 as well. And for those watching on YouTube, by the way, for Solski and Daaanty, since they're the stars of the show here, by far over any of the rest of us, their Twitch names are exactly to see them on the screen. So go hang out with them, twitch.tv/ either name on the screen. Of course, Solski's saying in the live chat now, don't do it. I'm telling you, do it. Just go do it. Don't listen to him. Just go do it. Anyway, any last thoughts from you, 18, before we wrap?
No, it was an exciting race, and it was a pleasure to commentate with you, Cyclone.
Agreed. And for those of you here on the main channel, we are going to probably take a look at the channel numbers. We're probably going to end up joining Speed Gaming 4 in progress on the live end. So you're probably going to start seeing Weighty Words versus Bomb Chew Missile when we wrap up here on the live end. For those on YouTube, again, it is in this playlist. Everyone, make sure you follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well as, I don't know when it's going to start in the term, but ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5 will broadcast some of these races as well. And that's all 11 channels are going to be involved in this tournament to some extent. So make sure you give them a follow, and make sure you know when all the races are coming on. As for here at Speed Gaming, let me just cover a couple other events on the schedule aside from this for those who might want to watch something different. I mean, I'd watch more Randomizer, but if you want to watch something different, Super Mario Brothers 1 is having a tournament here. There's Super Metroid Randomizer League. There is Zelda 1 Metroid 1 Combo Randomizer. That's on 11:30 tonight. and other events like that that are going on here at Speed Gaming. Make sure you see speedgaming.org/schedule for all that information, speedgaming.org/ALTTPR for this tournament's schedule. So with that said, I want to thank you, chat, for watching. If it wasn't for you, we'd just be talking nonsense to each other. So thank you for watching us. And please make sure you stay tuned on this channel for Jay Meisher versus F. Coughlin, Fred Coughlin. We have Adirondack Rick and NY Rambler going to be taking you through that race in about an hour and 15 minutes here live. So stay tuned for that. Enjoy the other races that we're going to host in the meantime in this tournament. Until next time, may not all your seeds be pet seeds. Idiom, take us home.
I don't have anything else to add. That was an exciting race. GG to both the runners, and have a great night, everyone.
Good night.